I should have never answered that call. Not in front of him. Not in that restaurant. But my phone wouldn't stop ringing, and his eyes were already on me. I was standing by the table, refilling his glass of wine when it happened. The room was filled with soft jazz, crystal chandeliers painting gold across the velvet walls. Everyone in that restaurant knew who he was. Leonardo Moretti, the man who owned the city without needing to say it. He looked calm, elegant even, in that black suit, but there was something about him that made everyone sit straighter, breathe quieter. And me, I was just the waitress, invisible, disposable, until my phone rang. It wasn't supposed to. I kept it silent every shift. But that night, it vibrated, loud enough to slice through the music. He glanced up. Slowly. I froze. Then I did something stupid. I answered, "Sí, Mama, estoy." That was all I said. "Yes, Mom, I'm..." Then silence. When I looked back at him, the air had changed. His hand stopped midair, the fork hanging between plate and mouth. His men exchanged glances. I tried to smile, to apologize, but he didn't move. His gaze pinned me in place like a command I couldn't disobey. "Spanish," he said quietly. "Where did you learn that?" His voice wasn't angry. It was soft, dangerously soft. I told him it was nothing, that I just grew up hearing it. But he leaned back, eyes narrowing slightly, studying me like I had just spoken a language he used to dream in. "Interesting," he murmured. "You remind me of someone." I felt my pulse race. I wanted to leave, to run, but his tone, there was something about it that made my knees weak. A mix of power and grief, like he wasn't sure if he wanted to hurt me or keep me safe. Minutes later, when my shift ended, I walked toward the door, pretending not to notice that his eyes never left me. And then I heard it, not loud, just a whisper from his bodyguard. "Boss, don't let her leave." My heart stopped. I turned slightly. His reflection in the glass caught mine. He was still sitting there, calm, sipping his wine, watching me. That's how it began. The night I learned that one word, one language, could change everything. And somehow I knew he wasn't just curious about me. He was remembering someone he once loved, and maybe he thought I was her. They said the restaurant closed at midnight, but that night, the lights stayed on for me. The other waiters had gone. Chairs flipped, tables cleaned, laughter fading down the hallway. I was still there, frozen at the corner of the dining room, pretending to fix a napkin that didn't need fixing. Leonardo Moretti sat alone at his table. The bottle of red was half empty, the ice in his glass melting slow. His bodyguard stood near the entrance, silent, immovable. When he finally spoke, his voice carried through the emptiness like smoke. "Come upstairs." I turned. "Sir, my shift." He didn't repeat himself. He just looked at me once, and that was enough. My feet moved before my mind did. The staircase behind the wine bar led to a private suite, velvet walls, dim amber light, and windows overlooking the sleeping city. A single piano note drifted from somewhere above us, like the ghost of a song that never ended. He walked behind me, slow, deliberate. I could feel his presence, the weight of power that didn't need to be spoken. "Sick," he said. I obeyed. He poured another glass, then one for me. His fingers brushed the stem, elegant, careful. "You're not just a waitress." I swallowed hard. I don't understand. You spoke Spanish like it was the first language you ever learned, he said. That accent isn't tourist. It's blood. I forced a smile. My mother was from Cordoba, he interrupted. You said mama like someone who still dreams in that tongue. My chest tightened. How do you? He smiled faintly. Because once, I loved someone who spoke exactly like that. Silence. The kind that hums inside your bones. I looked away out the window where the rain had begun to fall in thin silver lines. He moved closer. The scent of his cologne, cedar, smoke, and danger wrapped around me. His voice lowered. Tell me your name. Isabella, I whispered. He studied me. Lies are wasted on me, Isabella. I met his eyes. Then maybe you shouldn't ask questions you don't want answered. For a moment, his expression shifted, something between surprise and intrigue. Then, softly, he laughed. You've got fire. That's rare here. He set his glass down, stepped closer. My pulse quickened. What's a girl like you doing in my restaurant? I work here. No, he said quietly. You hide here. The words hit harder than they should have, because he was right. I had been hiding, not from him, at least not yet, but from a past that still had my name written in someone else's blood. He reached out, touching a strand of hair that had fallen across my cheek. His thumb lingered a second too long. You shouldn't answer phones in languages that don't belong here. Maybe I forgot where I belonged, I said. His gaze deepened, dark, searching. Then maybe I'll remind you. The air between us turned heavy. My heartbeat was loud enough to drown the rain. He leaned in, his breath near my ear. I told them not to let you leave, he whispered, because I need to know who you really are before someone else finds out first. I froze. Someone else. He straightened, the softness gone. There are men in this city who would kill to hear that voice again. If they think you're connected to her, you won't last a night. Her! He looked at me for a long time, then turned away. She was taken from me years ago. Her name was Lucia. My stomach twisted. Lucia, my mother's name. The room blurred for a second. I hid my hands beneath the table to stop them trembling. He didn't notice, or maybe he did and chose not to speak. All he said was, "You'll stay here tonight, for your own safety." Safety. The words sounded wrong coming from him. I wanted to say no. I wanted to walk out that door. But deep down, something inside me whispered that if I did, my secret would follow me, and he would, too. So I nodded, and when his bodyguard closed the door behind me, locking me inside the suite, I realized I wasn't just trapped by his command. I was trapped by the look in his eyes. Because for the first time in years, someone saw me, and that was the most dangerous feeling of all. When I woke up, I didn't remember falling asleep. Just the rain, the sound of it whispering against the window all night, the only proof that time had passed. The room smelled faintly of cedar and smoke. Someone had left a tray on the table, coffee, croissants, strawberries, and a note. Eat something. We need to talk. LM. The handwriting was precise, controlled, the kind of penmanship that didn't know how to tremble. I almost laughed. The Mafia Boss who could silence an entire city had left me breakfast. Still, my stomach betrayed me. I hadn't eaten since yesterday. I took a sip of coffee, dark, strong, bitter. the kind that burned its way down and woke your soul. I was halfway through the cup when the door opened. He didn't knock. Leonardo Moretti never knocked. He entered in a dark shirt, sleeves rolled up, wristwatch glinting against his skin. The kind of man who looked like power was his second language. "Morning," he said. I set the cup down, forcing calm. "You kept me locked in." "I kept you safe," he corrected. "Same difference." A small smile tugged at his lips. "You've got courage for someone in my house." I met his gaze. "Maybe I'm not scared of you." "Liar." He said it softly, like a compliment. He moved closer, pulling out a chair across from me. The air between us carried that same electricity from last night. Quiet, dangerous, magnetic. "I looked into you," he said, voice low. "No record. No real ID. You appeared out of nowhere 3 months ago. New name. New address. Why?" My throat tightened. "Because people like you don't need to know everything about people like me." His expression darkened. Not angry, more curious. "You think I'm your enemy? I don't know what you are." He leaned forward. "I'm the only thing keeping you alive right now." My pulse jumped. Alive from what? He exhaled, running a hand through his hair. 2 nights ago, one of my shipments was intercepted. The man who did it was heard speaking Spanish on the comms. Same accent, same tone. When you answered that call last night, I thought. He stopped himself. I frowned. You thought what? That maybe the past was repeating itself. His eyes met mine, and for the first time, I saw something I hadn't expected. Guilt. Regret. What happened to Lucia? I asked quietly. He stared at the window, his jaw tight. She was taken because of me. Because I trusted someone I shouldn't have. She called me once, just once, before she disappeared. Her voice sounded like yours. The silence after that was heavy, suffocating. I didn't know what to say, so I didn't. He turned back to me, and this time his tone softened. You shouldn't be here, Isabella. But I can't let you leave until I know who you really are. I swallowed. And if you never find out? His lips curved slightly, not a smile, but something close. Then you'll stay longer than you planned. For a second, the air shifted again. His voice lowered, eyes locked on mine. Eat. You'll need your strength. For what? For surviving me, he said. And just like that, he was gone. The door closed softly, but his scent, that mix of danger and smoke, lingered like a memory that refused to fade. I sat there, staring at the half-empty coffee cup, heart still racing. Because I wasn't sure what terrified me more, being trapped in his house, or realizing that part of me didn't want to leave. By the 3rd day, I'd stopped pretending I wasn't curious about him. The mansion was too quiet, filled with marble hallways, expensive silence, and the faint smell of his cologne that lingered everywhere. He didn't keep me locked in anymore, but he didn't let me leave either. Every morning, someone brought breakfast. Every night, a guard stood by the door. And somewhere between those hours, Leonardo Moretti appeared. Not like a jailer, but like a man trying not to look too long at something he shouldn't want. That evening, he found me by the piano room. You play? He asked. I turned from the keys. Not really. I listen. Lucia used to play, he said quietly. Same song, Same hesitation before every note. I froze. You think I'm her? He looked at me for a long time, that same unreadable stare that always felt like he was peeling something off my soul. No, he said finally, but I think she left something behind. And maybe it found you. I didn't know what to say. So I just looked down at my hands that trembled when I touched the same keys he said she once played. You're not supposed to be here, he whispered, stepping closer. But every time I look at you, I forget why. He stopped inches from me. The air thickened. My pulse felt loud enough for both of us to hear. You shouldn't talk to me like that, I said. And yet, he murmured, you're still standing here. His gaze drifted to my lips, slow, deliberate. My breath caught, and I hated that he noticed. He reached out, fingertips grazing my wrist. Your pulse doesn't lie, he said softly. You're scared. Of you, I whispered. Of what I make you feel. The words sank deep, and I hated that part of me agreed. Then the door creaked open. A man in a gray suit stepped in, one of Leonardo's lieutenants. His expression was tense. Boss, he said quietly, we've got a problem. Leonardo's hand dropped from my wrist. The warmth left instantly. What is it? The man's eyes flicked toward me, then back to him. Someone's been asking questions about her. In Spanish. My heart stuttered. Leonardo's gaze snapped to me. Who would be looking for you? I don't know, I said. I swear I don't. Don't lie to me, Isabella, he said sharply. Not now. Tears stung my eyes. You think I planned this? That I came here just to? He turned away, running a hand over his face, fighting something inside him. Then softer, you don't get it. Whoever they are, they'll come for you. And when they do, they'll go through me first. The words hit harder than I expected. I saw something flash in his eyes. Not anger, not desire, but something raw. Something protective. Why? I whispered. Why do you care what happens to me? He stepped closer again, voice low. Because the moment you said that word, see, I remembered what it felt like to lose someone who sounded just like you. And I'll be damned if I lose that voice again. He turned and walked out, leaving me shaking, half from fear, half from everything else I couldn't admit out loud. I touched the piano again, pressing the same keys, the same hesitation, the same melody he said belonged to Lucia. And for the first time, I wondered if fate was cruel, or if it had just brought me back to finish what she couldn't. I didn't sleep that night. Every sound in the mansion, a creak, a whisper, a car passing outside, felt like the beginning of something I couldn't stop. I replayed his words in my head. Whoever they are, they'll go through me first. And the way he said it, not as a threat, but as a promise. By dawn, I decided I couldn't stay here. Not if being close to me meant danger for him. So when the guards changed shift, I slipped through the hall barefoot, carrying nothing but a phone I'd found in the study. I didn't even know where I'd go, only that I couldn't keep being a ghost in a house that didn't belong to me. But as I reached the front door, I heard it. Don't, he said. His voice stopped me cold. He was standing there, half in shadow, shirt unbuttoned, eyes tired like he hadn't slept either. Leonardo, don't lie, he said quietly. You were leaving. I swallowed. I thought it was better this way. For who? For you. They're looking for me. Whoever I was before I walked into your life. It's dangerous. He stepped closer. You think I care about danger? You should, I said, my voice breaking. Because it's the only thing I'm good at bringing. He stopped right in front of me, close enough that I could see the faint scar under his jaw, the one he never talked about. Isabella, he said softly, I don't know what you're hiding. I don't even know your real name. But I know what I feel when you look at me. And I've killed men for less. Tears blurred my vision. Why me? He exhaled slowly, shaking his head. Because you remind me that I'm still human. That I can still feel something other than hate. Before I could speak, a gunshot shattered the silence. The glass window exploded beside us. He grabbed me, pulling me down as guards rushed in. Get her to the east wing, someone yelled. But Leonardo stayed over me, his arm around my head, his other hand reaching for his gun. Stay down, he ordered. Leonardo! Stay down! It happened fast. Footsteps, shouting, more gunfire. Then silence. When I looked up, he was gone. Leonardo! I screamed. The guards were gone, too. Only the echo of chaos remained. I ran through the hall, heart hammering, until I found him, leaning against the wall, blood soaking through his sleeve. Hey, he whispered, smiling faintly. Guess they found you. Don't joke, I said, pressing my hand against the wound. You're bleeding. It's not the first time. Then let it be the last. His gaze lifted to mine, pained but gentle. You should go. I'm not leaving you. You don't understand, he said, voice weak. They weren't here to kill you. They were here to take you back. Back! He nodded slowly. You're not who you think you are, Isabella. The room spun. What are you saying? He reached into his jacket pocket with his free hand, pulling out a folded photograph. It was old, faded at the edges. In it, a young girl stood beside a woman with kind eyes. That's you, he said. And that's Lucia, my sister. I froze. No, that can't be. She disappeared years ago, he said softly. Your accent, your eyes, that song you play. I thought it was just grief talking. But when you answered that call in Spanish, I knew. You were raised under a new name. They took you after she died. The world tilted under me. Memories, half-buried flashes of laughter, a melody on a piano, a voice calling Jimena, all came flooding back. I'm Lucia, sister, I whispered. You were all I had left of her, he said, and I almost lost you again. Tears streamed down my face as I pressed harder on his wound. You're not losing me, Leonardo. Not now. Not ever. He smiled faintly. You have her fire. She would have liked that. Sirens wailed in the distance. The guard shouted outside. He winced, gripping my hand. When they come in, don't argue. Go with them. You're free now. No, I shook my head fiercely. I'm staying with you. Please, he whispered, his voice fading. Don't make me say it twice. The last thing he said before the medics stormed in, before they pulled me away, was the same line he'd said the first night. Don't let her leave. And when I turned back one last time, I saw him covered in blood, but smiling, eyes locked on mine. The kind of smile that says I'll find you again, even if I have to come back from hell itself. Some people walk into your life and ruin your peace. Others ruin your peace and call it love. He was both.